Hello and welcome back to another weekly video on the F1 Journal. Now there's no F1 on for obvious reasons, but when there is F1 back on, you can expect much more content on this channel, just that there's not much to talk about. Now you may remember in our last video, we were talking about how F1 can return. We are continuing on the topic of F1 returning, but we're going to look at a possible date today. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, first of all, let's look at the races that have already been postponed, which are Australia on the 15th of March, Bahrain on the 22nd of March, Vietnam on the 5th of April, China on the 19th of April, Netherlands on the 3rd of May, Spain on the 10th of May, and Azerbaijan on the 7th of June, Canada the 14th of June, and France on the 28th of June. Now, you may notice I haven't mentioned Monaco. That's because Monaco is cancelled, 100% off, and it sounds like Australia was too, and I expect many of the other ones will be, especially street circuits, as it will be hard for them to get ready in time for the race on such short notice. Already half the races have been postponed, so that leaves us with the remaining 11 races on the 5th of July, which is Austria, 19th of July, Great Britain, 2nd of August, Hungary, 30th of August is the one that I really want to be on, so I can go to it, because I am planning to go to the Belgian Grand Prix, and it'll be a nice vlog for you guys, I'm sure. And then the 6th of September, you've got Italy, the 20th of September, you've got Singapore, 27th of September, you've got Russia, 11th of October, you've got Japan, the 25th of October, you've got USA, the 1st of November, you've got Mexico, and the 15th of November, you've got Brazil, and finally, you've got the 29th of November, Abu Dhabi. I was going to say last but not least, but with the quality of the Abu Dhabi race normally, I think it probably a fair reflection. Now, it looks like most of those races will be off, or maybe not most, hopefully not most, but I would say definitely up to the summer break, which is Hungary on the 2nd of August. Hopefully we can get started on the 30th of August, and I think that's the best case scenario. So I thought today I'd try and put a little mini calendar together, guessing that the season will start on the 30th of August. Now, as I mentioned, it will be an 8-race calendar across 3 continents, minimum for it to be counted as a World Championship. So today I'm going to look at the possible races we can fit in and how far the season can go on for. So we're going to keep the remaining races in their positions. So on the 30th of August is the opening race of the season. We'll have Belgium. This will stop legal troubles and will mean that there will be no arguments with the current tracks, and the tracks that before can't really argue. The only problem is Abu Dhabi won't be able to be the last race of the calendar, but oh well, screw Abu Dhabi. So now the job is to fit the races that were supposed to be in the first half of the season in the second half of the season. So what we should try and do, I think this is what Ross Brawn said as well, is we're going to try and have races 3 weekends out of 4, and then potentially run into January or something to get the season done. So what we have to do is fit in all the races from the first half of the season, and first we'll have to go for the circuits that are already made purpose-built instead of street circuits like Monaco and Azerbaijan. So in my newly used pad, I've made a list of all the races and what weekend that would happen on, down from the 30th of August to the 29th of November, and you can see how many free spots there are. Not many really, so it's already going to be quite packed into the season. Realistically, we're only going to be able to fit one extra race into there, so I think we're going to have to move into December and possibly even January to get a bigger calendar as possible. I've just made one alteration. I've pushed the USGP one week back from the 25th of October to the 1st of November. And hold on, let me just see if I made another change. Oh yeah, and I pushed the Mexico GP back again. Suppose I could move the USGP back 1 week, back 1 week more, and have the Mexico GP there. But Mexico specifically wants to be before the USA, so we'll have to see how that plays out. And the only race that I'm going to actually add in this little time period is round 6, which it already says on there. I forgot that I was just doing that. Got a bit ahead of myself. And it's going to be the Chinese GP on the 18th of October, right after the Japanese GP on the 11th of October as a local, and it won't be too much hassle for the teams, and hopefully China will be long behind the pandemic by then. So as you can see, I've added on the Chinese GP, which would be on the 18th of October, and round 6 of the championship, and I've done the weeks all the way down to the 17th of January, which is realistically when I think it can end. Then we can get going with next season at a reasonable time, as there's no rules, and we can have a month off, then go straight into pre-season. Admittedly, we won't see anything like the Mercedes DAS system this year in testing, but it's not really about that. It will just be a an evolution of these cars rather than a revolution. Now we're coming to the end of the current rule sets, and it shouldn't affect teams too much. Then we can just get on to the next season, maybe start a couple of weeks late, but we should be able to end at a reasonable time, and then we'll be all way back on track, ready for 2022 and the new rules. So now I'm going to add on all the races that I think should take place between the 6th of December and the 17th of January to make the season as complete as possible. As you can see, I've now finished my season, and we're going to end up with a grand total of 14 races, which I don't think is too bad at all. So let me just talk you through what I've done. I've done 6th of December, 13th of December, so we're going to have a triple header. On 6th of December, I've gone for the Bahrain GP, simply because it's closest to Abu Dhabi, so it won't be too bad for the teams. And then for the 13th of December, I've gone for the closest possible race to Bahrain, which is the Vietnam GP. So there won't be too much travelling involved or having to move stuff around. Admittedly, they will be away from their families for 3 weeks just before Christmas, so it's not ideal, but this whole situation isn't ideal. Unfortunately, it seems like people have to make sacrifices. And then I say can be a 3-week break over Christmas from the 20th of December to the 3rd of January, and then we go straight back into it for the last 2 races of the championship, which I just kind of want to keep simply in Europe, which would probably be the 2 most open races for that time of year. Spain, where they normally hold pre-season testing, so they're not going to be too much of a hassle there, and Silverstone seems to be open all year round, and they've got the facilities there, so I think they should be pretty secure, even though the weather might not be too good. I'm sure you'll get a freezing cold 5-degree race round Silverstone. Could be the coldest race in F1 history, but these circumstances have brought weird times. So overall, let me show you the calendar in full. So here is my final calendar. Obviously, it's harder said than done, and I wish Ross and the lads all the best in getting it all sorted. But I think it's probably the best that F1 could do. Lots of races that build up. So just 2 weeks on and then 1 week off, and then towards the end it gets to 3 weeks on and 1 week off as travel restrictions ease and everything, and it should be easier to get everything round. Obviously it will be a big job to get all of those races done in such a short period of time, but I think F1 kind of have to try and do it, and hopefully it doesn't affect next season and future seasons too much. So in that way I think it's good. It's such a shame though that the races that we'll miss out will be Australia, the Netherlands, Monaco, Azerbaijan, Canada, and France. Who cares about France? Oh, France and Austria. Who cares about France though? But some races that are really popular with fans like Azerbaijan and Canada miss out. But unfortunately, we're going to have to miss popular races out, and hopefully they'll be able to return in 2021. It's not an easy situation, but I think that's the best that you can deal with it. Let me know in the comments what you think and what you would change and what would be your final Canada. Thank you very much for watching. See ya.